Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of the Wicked Tasty Cooking channel. My name is Eric Rizzo, and this is just going to be a test run. This one is not going to include any of my hot sauces. This is just a quick, simple dish that I like to do for myself once in a while when I am not making a homemade sauce from scratch. I'm starting out with Barilla. I'm going to use one of the sweet peppers and one of the Tuscan herbs. And I'm going to doctor it up. And this is something that you can do to flavor things up a little bit when you don't have time to spend 4 hours cooking a sauce for the entire day. Okay, so what I'm doing is I start with some, in this case, I'm taking just some white onion that I cut up a little bit. Then I put them into this amazing little Tupperware thing I love. It's a spindle thing. You just kind of put it in. You put it on. You give it a couple pulls like that, and it like minces it for you. It's the most incredible thing that I've used. Okay, so now we're actually going to get into the preparation of this sauce. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some olive oil, and I'm just going to kind of throw a little bit in the pan. I don't know if you can see that. But the purpose of this is to start sauteing the onions that I showed you that I chopped up already. I'm just going to throw that in. And what we want to do is we want to saute that on high. Try to get a little bit of that caramelization action going on the onions. Okay, so while this is sauteing, I'm going to grab the camera and give you a bird's eye view of what I was talking about. Now that is going to saute for a little bit, and I will also go over the ingredients of what I have. What I am adding to this is I have some apple cider vinegar, some granulated garlic, some crushed red pepper, and some cayenne pepper. I have 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I have 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic, 1 for each quart. I have 1 tablespoon of crushed red pepper and half a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. And you can figure out your quantities based on your preferences after you go through this. But this is just the baseline that I'm starting with. And I tend to like mine with some kick. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of browning going on in these onions. Boy, that smells good. Oh my god, that alone just smells good. The sauteed onion, sauteed white onion with a little bit of just sauteed in olive oil. Oh my god, it just smells good. And sometimes I'll use sweet onion, I'll use Vidalia onion, the yellow onion in different recipes, but the reason why I like white onion has a little bit more of a bite to it. And when I'm making a Fra Diavolo sauce, which is what I'm doing, you know, I'm definitely a fan of the bite. So, what I do is open a can of sauce, throw it in, and we kind of gotta remove that from the heat for a little bit, otherwise it'll just boil like crazy. So what I always do is I always rinse out a little bit of water in these. Then I keep the jars for after you make the sauce, you want something to go back in. Oops. Just kind of makes sense. Now I'm going to add the other jar of sauce. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just rinse it with some water. Depending on which part of the country you live in, you definitely want to use filtered tap water. Here in Florida, oh my God, I can't imagine cooking with anything other than filtered tap water. So then you just kind of mix everything up a little bit. And I add my 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. It's a ratio of 1.5 tablespoons per jar of sauce. These are 24-ounce jars. Kind of stir it up a little bit. Let it mix in. And then the garlic. Gotta have the garlic. You know, you kind of want to spread it around a little bit so it doesn't clump up. Stir it in. Spread in a little bit more. Mix it up. And that's a technique that you'll get with a little bit of trial and error. Sprinkle in some. You don't want it to clump is the main objective. Okay, and then add 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Same technique, just kind of spread it around. Mix it in. And again, you'll have to play around with the heat because you don't want this to just kind of bubble and splatter all over the place. So depending on whether you're cooking on gas or electric, you know, you can turn it down to a simmer, but on an electric stove, it's not going to turn down right away. And then add, I have half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So if you're a fan of Fra Diavolo sauce, that is a great ratio for a nice little kick. I tend to like my sauces a little bit more on the spicy side. So I would recommend the first time to go lighter on the sauce. Mix it. Give it some time for the flavors to gel. Taste it. If it's not too hot, add more. Because you can always add more. You can't always take it out. And then once everything is mixed pretty well, you can just let that simmer. And again, this is intended to be a quick doctoring of jarred sauce. Okay, I mean, I know it's blasphemy for an Italian to be, you know, using sauce from a jar, but in this day and age, especially if you're a single guy or there's only 2 people or, you know, a small family and you don't have the time to spend 4 hours making a sauce from scratch, this is a pretty good fix. You know, and it's very enjoyable because it tastes so amazing. So amazing. I mean, it tastes like you went to, I mean, this Fra Diavolo sauce that I make is better than 99% of the places I've ever had it at in a restaurant. And the key is not necessarily the brand of jarred sauce that you use. It's spicing it up and doctoring up the way you like it. So it's very economical. You can save a lot of money. And I always encourage people to try to save money and put money away for investment purposes. It's one of the things I'm very, very big on. I've had some amazing mentors in my life and taught me things I already knew, but taught me a lot of things that I wasn't doing that I should have been doing. Okay, so now while that's simmering, I'm just going to start boiling the water because I think I'm going to be having raviolis tonight. Something a little different. And again, this is relatively quick. From start to finish, this is probably about a half hour of preparation because the raviolis they're 4 minutes in the boiling water. So you spend a few minutes getting this prepped, you let it simmer. By the time the water boils, it's a very quick, easy dinner that doesn't taste like, you like bought Stouffer's and heated it up or something like that. I'll probably get sued for using Stouffer's as an example, but you know where I'm getting at. All right, so nothing exciting now. I'm not going to sit here and watch water boil because that's just no fun. Okay, so now that we have the water boiling, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some salt to it. And what the salt does, it just helps keep the water at a higher temperature. And I always use iodized sea salt. Okay, I didn't know about the importance of iodized salt, and that's a whole other story. But anyway, so I use iodized sea salt whenever possible. So we're just going to sprinkle some in there. And then I'm going to just sprinkle a little olive oil in there. And the olive oil helps keep the raviolis, the pasta, from sticking. Use my wooden spoon just to kind of give it a stir. And now I'm going to add 1.5 pounds of frozen raviolis. And just give it a stir so that none of them stick together. And that smells good. And according to the directions, which I'm going to double check. Key part is it says return to a boil, then cook for 4.5 minutes. So it's okay to stir this and make sure that the raviolis don't stick to each other. Again, the importance of the olive oil. So once that begins to boil, we will set the timer for 4.5 minutes. Those are the directions for this bag of raviolis. They may all be a little different depending on who makes them, but always read the directions and use that as your baseline for establishing timelines and all that kind of stuff. And very shortly here we will have the finished product. And I already tasted the sauce. Very, very good. Probably add a little bit more of the apple cider vinegar, which is what I think I might actually do. I will add, based on the flavor of everything here, I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons, which will bring it to a total of 5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Okay, so the timer just went off to let us know that the raviolis are done. So we're going to turn that off. We're going to turn that off. Shut the fan off. And one little tip while the raviolis are cooking is you don't want to keep it on a super high rolling boil because it'll foam up and go all over the place. I've watched that happen many times in my family. So I learned to kind of back it off a little bit so it still stays boiling, so it cooks at the rate it's supposed to, but it won't go crazy. So what we do is we dump it out into a strainer. And then what I always do is take the pan and take a scoop of sauce, trying to do this for the camera, and put in a couple scoops of sauce. So when you put your raviolis or your pasta in, you can mix it up and it won't all stick together. See? And then you just take your wooden spoon, give it a little stir, get that all nice and saucy. Okay, and grab the camera. Quick. So you can see that's what it looks like, and for some that might be enough. Now, if you're like me, you can never have enough sauce. So that's why I always make way more sauce than necessary, because as you eat it, you want to enjoy it. Especially when you make such an awesome tasting sauce, you really want to enjoy it. If you like to have bread and butter and dip in your sauce, like most people who enjoy Italian food, that's the way they enjoy it, go right ahead. Or when you if you sprinkle your pasta with Parmesan cheese, it absorbs some of the sauce. It's just heaven. It's just heaven. But so that's my little my little tip, the way I doctor up jarred sauce into Fra Diavolo sauce. And this is the first video. Please like and share and comment. And look forward to more cooking tips and whatever you want to call this, featuring my line of hot sauces, which is the reason why this whole channel was created, was to promote my Wicked Tasty line of hot sauces. And everything else I cook, I share. This is from my kitchen. I am not a professional. I'm just a guy that loves to cook. And I like to share information, ways to help you save money, cook economically, and more importantly, friends don't eat friends, have bland food. Okay? Life's too short for bland food. So you can still eat on a budget without tasting like you're eating on a budget. That's my whole point. Once you know how to use the spices and stuff to your advantage, you can make anything taste amazing. So now it's time to eat. And there is the finished product, the way I enjoy my raviolis. I will also include the exact ratios of everything I use in my ingredients for making your home cooking much more enjoyable. And again, as I said, you can use everything as a baseline and adjust things to taste. Hey everybody, this is Eric from Palm Harbor. I just finished shooting my first cooking video for my YouTube channel, my Wicked Tasty YouTube channel. Oh God, this smells so good. Oh my Lord, it smells so good. And I'm going to be drinking my essential water with my dinner. It's a higher pH water, which it's good to have. We'll discuss that another time. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and stay tuned for more videos.